Hello team, it's KJ here, and today we're going to talk about acne. Yes, when we think about acne, we often think about teenagers. However, the occurrence of adult acne has increased, mostly to women and women in their 20s, 30s, all the way up to 60s and postmenopausal. There's a number of reasons that this is happening. And I'll tell you about those in a second. But when we talk acne, we're generally talking about 4 different types: blackheads, whiteheads, general pimples, and cystic acne. So let's go back to our picture of the skin. See the sebaceous gland attached to the hair follicle? This is our oil factory. Oil travels up the follicle shaft, out onto the pores, and onto the skin surface. Now these pores are like open-ended straws that allow the oil or the sebum to leave the body. And this oil then does create that natural acid mantle that lies on the surface of your skin that protects it against alkaline-based pollutants and bacteria. Now, you need to learn about the pH. There's a gold mail on that. Go back and have a look at it. It's really fascinating. Now, too much oil production coming out of those glands onto the surface of your skin, mixed with the dead skin cells, creates the plugs that lead to different types of acne. So, if the plug oxidizes, this causes that plug to go black, and therefore you will get a blackhead. Sometimes a small skin covering shields that plug, therefore it doesn't oxidize, but this smaller bump can then appear white in color, and we call these whiteheads. Then let's go to pimples. This is when bacteria that lives on the skin surface or is transferred to your skin surface is forced down into the pores, where it feeds on all that lovely excess sebum. Then the plug occurs, trapping the bacteria that then starts to attack the walls of the shaft. White blood cells rush to the area to counteract the bacteria and damage that's occurring. And it's this reaction of trapped excess oil, bacteria, white blood cells that create an inflamed pustule or a pimple or a yellowhead. And then the next generation of pimples is when these surrounding walls actually rupture and it leaks the contents of that pimple into the dermal layers, and then further reactions occur. And these can create really large angry cysts, otherwise known as cystic acne. So generally speaking, excess oil is the culprit. Excess oil plus dead skin cells equals acne. So, acne can attack anybody at any age. In fact, they say up to 85% of the population can have some type of breakout at any one time. And there are so many things that can happen to trigger acne or trigger excess oil production that causes acne. And the more chance you have of getting acne or a flare-up of acne, then more you'll see these things coming onto your face. So there are some things that we can do that can really minimize it. But first of all, there can be teenage acne. That's when hormones go rampant in your body, tells your body to create more sebum, equals adolescent pimples. Hormones in pregnancy create this sebum-making reaction that's happening, and that can lead to acne in pregnancy. Same thing happens with menopause. And then there's also stress-related acne. Now, this is the big one that's really taking the cake nowadays. You see, we all have adrenal glands, and these are attached to our kidneys. Now, they produce hormones such as estrogen, progesterone, cortisol, adrenaline. And in times of stress, your adrenal glands produce more of these hormones, including cortisol. And it's this cortisol that starts a chain reaction that triggers your body to create more sebum. And more sebum we create, the more dead skin cells mix with it, and the more acne that we do get. Now, to minimize acne outbreaks or flare-ups, here are some absolute musts that we should adhere to. Not only to make sure acne doesn't happen, but really, if we know anybody that you speak to that suffers from acne or is very prone to flare-ups, these are the absolute musts. Not just one, all of them. Now, first and foremost, the number one thing we need to do is we have to know that anything we put on our skin, be it cleanser, toner, moisturizer, makeup, and yes, even my beloved SPF, are all labelled oil-free or water-based. The last thing we need to do is add more oil to the skin when it's essentially the oil that's causing the acne or the flare-up in the first place. Sleeping with makeup on is the next thing. Now, while occasionally sleeping with your makeup on won't cause a major problem, it can and will increase the incidence of acne breakouts if you do it regularly. Now, while the makeup itself, assuming it's oil-free or water-based, will not necessarily block your pores, it's that rubbing of your skin against pillows and sheets, etc., that can push particles and bacteria into your pores, and then they travel down that follicle shaft, get trapped there, the block appears, and bingo, acne flare-up. The next big key in minimizing acne flare-ups is, and this is a common rule anyway, but no touching your face. If you're prone to acne, even using a mobile phone is enough to exacerbate the problem. The constant rubbing of the phone against your skin pushes the bacteria into the pores, down the shaft, bingo again, trap bacteria, acne flare-up. Any touching of your skin with your fingers, no matter how inconsequential it may appear, will flare up acne. Your hands are a treasure trove of bacteria. Everything you touch, door handles, bathroom activities, escalator hold rails, kids, money, everything. And bacteria lives by the millions on your hands, and every time you touch your face, yep, you got it, you're putting bacteria on there, pushes into your pores where they love to feed on the excess sebum. Then the cornflake plug happens, pimples. Even when we wash our faces. Now, I know we love to wash it, but then we dry it. Too much rubbing can irritate the skin even more. Just remember, if you're prone to acne, pat, 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 pat dry softly. Another culprit of acne breakouts are your makeup brushes. Now, these can be little bacteria-loving housing estates. So, we've cleaned our skin, everything's there, we're putting on our makeup, little bit of transference of bacteria. Tomorrow, when we go to put our makeup on, now we've got bacteria on our brush, we're putting it straight back on our face. Clean your brushes once a week. OLC is great, should be part of your beauty routine. And remember, if you're susceptible to breakouts, use a spray every day to clean your brushes after each use. Foods, they used to say chocolate caused pimples. We now know that it's not chocolate, but the only proven food ingredient that will exacerbate acne is iodine. Iodine has a huge effect on your thyroid gland, and this in turn secretes hormones into your body, and these hormones, you guessed it, create more oil. So we need to avoid things like shellfish, crabs, shrimp, spinach, milk, cheese, garlic, mushrooms. If you're acne prone, Google high iodine foods to know which ones to choose to avoid, and you'll minimize your flare-ups. The next tip on minimizing acne flare-ups is a doozy. It has to do with exercise and sweating. Now, we all know it's important to wash your face after exercising to get rid of the sweat that could cause acne. But the truth is, the sweat is only water and salt. Nothing sinister there to clog your pores. However, the huge trick, if you're prone to acne, is to wash your face before exercising. You need to get rid of the dirt, pollution, makeup, grime, and bacteria. Because if it's already on your skin and then you exercise, you'll be wiping your face with sweat, pushing the nasties right into your prone pores, and yep, you guessed it, acne flare-up. And if you really want to reduce acne flare-up, then you need to reduce your stress levels. As we said before, stress creates cortisol. This creates the chain reaction that creates more oil, and this gives you more acne. Got to learn to relax. Learn how to meditate. It's not just good for your skin, it's good for your whole well-being. So, the 4 simple steps that you do every day that really can help to control acne flare-ups are: to cleanse twice a day, to tone twice a day. Use something that dissolves the dead skin cells and then topically apply an active ingredient. Remember, gentle cleansing removes dirt, pollution, and more importantly, bacteria, and that bacteria just wants to go down into those pores and party. Toning, please remember, that makes sure that we keep that natural acid mantle where it needs to be. Using a beautiful exfoliant that is not abrasive, but something like facial peel cream that will help to remove the glue that holds the dead skin cells together, will keep those pores open and keep that channel open for the oil to escape. And the fourth action is to topically apply an active spot treatment and just onto that blemish. Now, I'm not a doctor or a pharmacist, so the type of treatment needs to come from your dermatologist. And remember, dermatologists can not only fix acne, but also scarring. So I hope that's given you a bit of an idea today, guys. It's been great that you've listened. And until next time, happy skin!